I got an order on a brand new listing in my Etsy shop in only 24 hours, and today I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. From showing you my own shop dashboard to product research, design creation, writing a great title and an amazing set of 13 tags, and finding great mock-ups, I'm breaking down the full strategy that got my shop found and in order so quickly. And just a quick FYI, what I'll be sharing in the video is applicable to whatever kind of shop you have, whether you do print on demand, digital downloads, doesn't really matter. The fundamentals will all be relevant to your shop. Little quick backstory is I had my shop on vacation mode for about half a year, and I did it out of pure frustration. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Nothing was happening in my shop, and I was kind of just over it. So I put my shop on hold for about half a year, and I relaunched it on July 3rd of 2024. On July 4th, 2024, I already had an order, and by the end of that month, I had 59 orders in my shop. So if you've been wondering how long it really takes to get traction on Etsy or how to create listings that actually convert, I got you. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, and we are hopping over into my shop dashboard just so I can show you the receipts for my shop and how it did nothing for about half a year. So I have it filtered from January to June of 2024, and under the orders, you can see here total flatline for that entire period, all the way from January to June, nothing happened in my shop. And for those of you who may be wondering, the 157 visits could be a former customer who went to my shop to potentially buy more, only to be met with a message from Etsy that my shop was on hold, vacation mode. So that is what the 157 visits could be, but the orders pretty much speak for themselves. Nothing happened during that time. Now I'm going to show you how my shop looked when I relaunched it. I didn't relaunch it until July 3rd of 2024, which is why here, July 1st, no orders, July 2nd, no orders, and then here, July 3rd is when I reopened my shop. July 4th, I got that order. And then July 5th, I got another order. Then July 6th, yet another order. And then check out July 7th, I got 4 orders in one day after my shop had been on hold for about half a year. The following day, it dropped down to 1 order, but it picked back up again on July 9th with 3 orders, and it continued to move along up and down. But then on July 13th and July 14th, I had nothing happen in my shop. However, July 16th, I had 5 orders, and it just continued to go up and down throughout the end of the month. This is only from July 3rd when I relaunched to the end of July 31st, not even a full month, and I had gotten 59 orders in my shop. Before we move on, if you want to make sure that the listings you're adding to your shop are actually set up to get clicks and of course orders, I created a free listing optimization checklist for you. If you want to grab your free copy, go ahead and leave the word checklist below and I'll get that over to you. Step 1, decide on a product type. Before anything else, you need to choose one product to focus on. I thought about doing t-shirt PNGs or wall art, digital planners, but ultimately I decided to go with tumbler wraps. I wanted to keep it simple and not overwhelm myself like I had done the first time around, which led me to put my shop on vacation mode. And that is something that I preach to my coaching students. Keep it really basic when you are either relaunching or you're just starting out. You don't need to take on more than one product type to begin with. You can do well only having one product in your shop. Eventually, you'll want to add in other things, but when you are brand new, please only stick to one product type. Remember that the other stuff will be there when you're ready, but it isn't advisable to take on different products right when you are starting your shop. When I first started on Etsy, I did entirely way too much. I opened 3 shops in 3 months. I don't know why I did that. I would highly encourage you not to do that. But that mistake is what led me to burn out in my print on demand shop, my digital download shop, and I ultimately shut down my 3rd shop. I turned that into the shop that I used to show stuff here on the channel. I thought that taking on so much in the beginning was a great thing, but it wasn't. And it led straight to burnout. So if you're feeling all over the place, you're not sure what route you want to take, start by picking one product, and that way you can test it, you can learn from it, and then you can begin to grow it and add other things into your shop. Now that we have the product type that we want to go with, step 2 would be to validate that product. And we're gonna hop right over into eRank to confirm that there is a demand for that item, because the last thing I want you to do is to take on a product type where there was no demand for it. So I'm going to come right over into the keyword research tool here in eRank and just type in tumbler wrap. You only want to type in your product type only. That's it. We're not going to niche it down yet. So I'm going to type in tumbler wrap and then we'll see what we get. Okay, and right away, I know it can look a little intimidating if you're not familiar with eRank, but we're only going to be looking at two areas. We're going to come right over here and look at the average search volume, over 9,000 searches per month. And we're looking at the competition, which is red. And typically with eRank, you want to avoid anything red, but because we only typed in the product type and we didn't niche it down, I'm not that worried about competition right now. I do like that search volume. That's a pretty healthy search volume. Now, to make sure that that average monthly search is not really a fluke and that it's pretty consistent, one of my favorite features on eRank is their trend graph over here in the middle, and it'll show you how that keyword has done over the last 15 months. And I find that to be incredibly helpful. That way I know that it wasn't something temporary or, like I said, a fluke, that there's pretty consistent search volume for over a year. And looking at the trend graph here, we can see here, May of 2024, it had over 11,000 searches. It did dip down a little bit, but in July of 2024, it had 3,700. I'm still pretty good with that. And this is exactly what I did when I relaunched my shop a year ago. I looked at the trend graph just to make sure that it didn't go high one month and then completely flatline after that. That's how I analyze the trend graph. So for me, I'm pretty satisfied with this. Pretty good search volume for over a year. Okay, now that we have decided on a product type and we validated that there's a demand for that product type, we're gonna hop over into Etsy to do a bit of visual market research. And I just typed in tumbler wrap in the search bar, and I'm looking on page 1 for any bestseller badges, any popular nows, and I'm using Everbee to look at the amount of monthly sales that item has had and how old it is, because I want to take all that into consideration. So when I'm doing the visual market research, I'm looking for those things together to help me determine what route I want to go in regarding what niche I want to create for. Looking at page 1, these here are big, huge mega bundles. I'm not interested in doing any of that today because we want to keep in mind that if we are brand new or we're relaunching our shop, we don't have anything ready to go for the most part. And I don't want to feel the pressure of overwhelm thinking I need to create a huge bundle. I'm going to only look at one listing at a time, no bundles. So I'll just come down page 1 here. Row 2, I'm seeing 2 copyright things or 2 trademark things. We're not going to look at those at all. But I do see a really pretty wildflower one here. It has a bestseller. That is coming directly from Etsy. Per Everbee, it's had 44 orders this month alone, and it's about a year old. That's really interesting. And what I'm looking at too is the design composition. I like the color palette that they're using. And I like that they have that open space here, which could potentially be customizable. I find that to be pretty intriguing. I'll just continue to go down. We have trademark there. We're not going to look at that, but we do have dark floral. Okay, so now the way my brain works is we have dark floral and we have light floral, but they're both floral. So that's really interesting. That's letting me know that floral is currently selling. This is a bestseller. It's a little bit older, but it's had 28 orders this month. Not too bad, not too bad at all. We'll just continue to go down here. And then we have, if I'm the problem, then you might be the reason. Oh, that's funny. Okay. And this one's really interesting because it is a bestseller and it's only a month old with 80 orders this month. This one's doing better than the other 2 I just showed you. That's really interesting. And looking at it, I'm noticing that there's like a cowgirl theme here, floral again, and it's more of a muted color palette with a funny quote or a funny phrase on it. I'm interested in that one. And we have another one here, popular now. It is 15 months. And this month it's had 54 orders according to Everbee. And guess what? More floral. All right, perfect. So I'm just continuing to work my way down. We have that bestseller here, a mechanic tumbler wrap, only a 4-month-old listing with 39 orders this month. And this is just my visual market research method. I'm looking to see what is currently selling right now, because if you don't know, anything on page 1 and page 2, those are things that are actively selling right now at this moment. Oh, that's really pretty. A sea turtle tumbler wrap, a 10-month-old listing, 21 orders, popular now. And then we have a romantasy bookish, that's really pretty, tumbler wrap, 7-month-old listing, floral, dark, kind of reminds me of the dark floral right here that we saw earlier. So this will take time to learn how to develop the skill, but I always recommend that you spend about 20 to 30 minutes a day just looking at pages 1 and 2 of Etsy and begin to train your brain of what to look for. That way you can learn what to put together. So for now, I'm looking and I see floral, a funny phrase, maybe cowgirl, and maybe dark. I don't know yet. I'm just putting it all together. But this one here, the sea turtle, is a bit of an outlier. That's different. I like it. We have yet another floral one here. It's black and white. That's different. A 21-month-old listing with 30 orders this month. More trademark stuff, unfortunately. And then we have a very cute raccoon, cute but feral, raccoon tumbler wrap, a 12-month-old listing, 33 orders this month. I like the Halloween one over here, popular now badge, 13-month-old listing, and Halloween is coming up. Now will be the perfect time to begin listing for Halloween if you haven't done so already. And that is really the method of really only staying on page 1 to do a bit of visual market research. We have a retro summer floral tumbler, and it's 4-month-old listing, and I already got that bestseller badge. So you would just do that until you found designs that you got excited to create, and you will go that route. Okay, and for step 4, you want to funnel down to a niche. When we were doing our visual market research a few moments ago, there were a bunch of floral related designs that were really pretty, and I'm going to go that route today because you can be completely creative with the floral niche. It's very pretty and you can do it in a ton of different styles. So on the search page on Etsy, I just typed in floral tumbler wrap to see what I got, and there's quite a variety here. I'm just gonna pretty much stay halfway on page 1. I don't need to go all the way down, but what I'm not seeing is dark floral with coquette. Now, if you don't know, the coquette niche on Etsy is incredibly popular across wall art, print on demand, tumbler wraps. I mean, it is everywhere. So I am seeing a bunch of color. I do like the black and white too, though, but I am seeing a bunch of color, but I want to go a dark, moody, but coquette and feminine route. Okay, and for step 5, that is designing our product. And I'll be using Kittle today to help me with that. I'll have the link below for you in the description if you want to try it out for yourself. But we're going to click the new project button here in the top right. And from here, we can create our own artboard size if we want, or we can use a pre-made one from Kittle. They even have a print on demand tab over here, and it'll give you the dimensions for the product of the print provider that you're using. So if you're with Printful, Printify, Redbubble, they will likely have an option here for you. But for the tumbler wrap, I'm just gonna create my own dimensions, and I work in inches. So I'll just do inches. And then for those who may be interested in doing tumbler wraps, the width is 9.3. and the height is 8 by 2 inches. And then for the DPI, which would be the resolution, we want to move it all the way over to 300 and then click create. So now we have our artboard, and I'm going to come right over here to the AI image generation here on Kittle. And from here, we're going to pick which AI image generator we want to go with. They have quite a few on here, which I love because I like to have different options, and I like getting multiple AI image generators under one platform. I find that to be very helpful. But for the look that I'm going for today, I'm going to go with Dolly, and I'm going to enter my prompt here and make sure that the aspect ratio is good to go. I'm in private mode, and you can pick an image style. I'm gonna go with watercolor, and then I'll click generate image, and then I'll come back when we have it done. Okay, and we have our first image, and it's really pretty. I like it, but I do like to have options. I'm gonna try another prompt and see what we get. If we like them both, we have 2 listings to add to the shop. I'll be right back. Okay, and we are back with the second design, and I don't really like that one too much. Not my favorite. So I'm just going to delete it. But if you liked it, you could definitely use it. But I'm going to go back to the original that we had, and then I will fit it to the artboard. I'm just holding down Shift while I'm dragging it so it can fit the entire artboard. And that looks really good. And I want to make sure I upscale it, which I'm going to click right here above it and click upscale. All right, that looks really, really pretty. I like that design a lot. I think the prompt was great, came out amazing, and it is still in that floral niche, which I've confirmed is doing well, but it's different than what a lot of the other floral tumbler wraps were doing. We have dark, but not terribly dark. We have a little bit of pink, femininity, and coquette. I think it came out really, really pretty. All right, we're gonna move into step number 6, which is mocking up the design. And I only get mock-ups in one of two places, and that would either be Etsy directly, they have great ones on there, or Creative Fabrica, and they have great ones on there too. I have a link for Creative Fabrica below if you wanna try it out, but I just typed in 20-ounce tumbler mock-up, and you can see here that we have a ton to work with, and they have really, really good ones on there. And again, if you want to look for some over on Etsy too, they have amazing ones on there as well. So those are the only two places where I get my mock-ups because they're high quality and they're high converting, which is really the whole point. So take your time with finding a great mock-up, no matter what product type you decide to go with. Take your time with it because your mock-up image is your first impression with the customer. Another tip too is when you're doing your visual market research, if you're noticing that a lot of your competitors are doing a flat lay mockup or a model mockup or whatever kind of mockup, and you see more of that type, that is your indicator to look for that kind of mockup. So for example, in my print on demand shop, if I am seeing a lot of model mockups and not that many flat lays, or if I'm seeing a particular color be the main mockup image, that's my cue that that's something that I want to use as inspiration when thinking about the kind of mockups that I want to go with and put in my shop. So a little bit of food for thought there. And once I get it mocked up, I will show you the final product. Okay, and now I'm going to show you our mocked up image in a minute, but I am really picky about mock-up images. You don't want to take your design and throw it on any random mock-up. I always encourage my coaching students to be very thoughtful and intentional with your mock-ups. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So we're gonna hop over here and we have the design mocked up, and yeah, it looks really good, don't get me wrong, but I don't feel that this particular mock-up goes well with the actual design. The background is a bit more rustic and the design is a lot more modern, feminine, and more elegant. They clash. They're both good, but they don't go well together. So I'm going to show you how I changed it to make it flow a little bit better. We have a lighter base at the bottom, and then we have that darker background. It complements the colors in the design to really tie it all in together. We're not just slapping a design on a random mock-up and adding it to our shop. You really have to make your mock-up images appeal to your customers and really tie it all together for them. So if I'm a customer and I see this, will you get conversions? Sure, you might. However, you may have a better chance of getting conversions with that mock-up that looks more classy and more elegant and really goes better with the vibe of the tumbler wrap. So keep that in mind when you're creating the mock-ups for your listings. You're gonna need multiple. You don't need a lot, but you're gonna need multiple mock-ups to make it fit with your design aesthetic. Okay, and moving into step 7, we need to create our title and our tags. I hopped back over into Etsy into that floral tumbler wrap search that we did a few moments ago. And I went ahead and pulled up a few of the best sellers on page 1 because they're already in not only our product type, but they're in our niche. We did a coquette floral tumbler wrap, so I wanted to go back to that particular search. So I went and pulled up a few different listings, and we have one here. We have that bestseller badge in over 20 cards. And the title begins with 3D pink roses floral tumbler wrap. We're not doing 3D, and we do have a little bit of pink, but I'm not going to worry about that. However, we do have a floral tumbler wrap. So what I'm going to do is copy that part right there, and then I'm going to use this website here, wordcounter.net, to build out my title, because I'll be able to see how many characters I have as I'm building out the title. You can have up to 140 characters in your title. So I'll pop that in there. Make sure I don't have any spaces. I did. Okay. So I just want to look at that one again to see if there's anything else. Not really there. And then they have spring floral tumbler wrap in another listing I found, another bestseller in 12 cards. I do like the 20-ounce skinny. And then I do like the flower sublimation design. So I will take that, and let me just enter that there in wordcounter.net, and I'll go back to that one to see if there's anything else I want to grab. I will do the digital download, because you definitely want to have that in your title, but I know the digital download, I'm going to put it at the end. So then let's look at another one I found, yet another bestseller in over 20 cards, and I like vintage. I like that they have that there. So let's go back over to word counter. And I want to begin with, and actually I want to put coquette at the beginning. Coquette floral tumbler wrap. And then let's pop in vintage right here. So you can see I'm just taking inspiration from the listings that are already doing well and adding my own touch. I'm not copying their title and tags verbatim. I'm not into that, but I am adding my own touch and building off of what is already proven to work. So let's go back into the vintage listing and see if there's anything else. Let's do, I don't want to do that part. Let me look at the other one, another bestseller in over 20 cards, black and white. Ours is not black, but we can take that, a 20-ounce skinny tumbler, and let me copy, and then I'll pop that over here. Tumbler PNG, digital download, and you can see we're at 109 characters. You don't have to use all 140, so don't buy into that. I could stop here, but I want to see what else we have. Vibrant colors, watercolor, I don't want any of that. And then look at this one here. I did find a floral coquette one, and I like how their title is laid out. I love that mock-up. But let's see, we have girly tumbler, spring floral tumbler. I'm gonna go back to our listing, and I'm gonna add a few more words in here. I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to put moody, dark, academia, maybe. See how that works out. And you can always go and change all of this too. Nothing is locked in. So we have moody, dark, academia, and I'm going back to our actual listing because I feel like I have enough here from the other listings, and I want to look at this one again and see what we can add in here. Okay, I'm looking at it, and to be honest with you, I'm pretty happy with what we have, but that's where your creativity would come in. What other words are you seeing from that design that I could have added in here? We have I do want to add the word roses in here. Vintage, moody, dark. I'll probably pop that in right here, and we're pretty much good to go. So we have 134 characters, so we're completely good to go with that title. Now I'm gonna go back and look at the tags that they're using. And so I'm gonna just enter down here because I know now that I'm not gonna go over the character limit, and I'm just gonna go back into the first listing, and I am gonna use Everbee here by clicking the Analyze Listing button. And I'm gonna come down here to their tags and just open it up and see what they have. And I wanna make sure that I'm starting with the highest keyword score, and I'm looking at the competition as well. And so they have pink roses tumbler. I'm gonna click that to copy it because we do have that in our design. So I'll go back over into word counter, enter that there, and then going back into that one, they have rose tumbler design. I'll click, and then I will enter that. And the cool thing too with Everbee is we can look at the amount of competition. 19,000 is a little bit higher than the 15,000 or fewer that I recommend, but I'm okay with it because it really does describe what our tumbler is. You can break the rules every now and then. You don't have to be totally perfect with it. So I'm okay with it. Even the pink roses tumbler has over the 15,000, but I'm okay with it though. It all does make sense. And so if we come here, elegant tumbler wrap, it does have a keyword score of 0, but 5,900 competition, 22 monthly searches, not the most, but I am going to take the chance and copy it because competition is really low. So we'll pop back over here, enter that there. And I'm just going to repeat that process with each of the listings until I get my 13. And when I get my 13, I will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our title and our 13 tags. I have coquette floral wrap, floral tumbler wrap, vintage flowers PNG, and so forth. A little tip too is when you're creating your tags, you want to grab the most important words describing your item from your title and turn that into a tag, which is what I did with the first few with the coquette floral wrap, floral tumbler wrap, and vintage flowers PNG, just to really hone into the algorithm, what my product is and the particular niche. Okay, now let me show you the final listing of everything that we did today. But we have our mock-up image, and I beg you, please make sure that you are putting more than one photo in your listing. This is for the demonstration for the tutorial, but I use up to 10, and I always have a video with every listing as well. But we have our title over here. And then if we click the Analyze Listing button from Everbee, we can see the tags are over here. And then of course you want to put a real description. I just put test just to have something for now. But yeah, we have our final result from the research to the design creation to the title and the tags and adding it to our shop. If you want help finding more best-selling trending niches like the one that we covered today, that is exactly what I do in my Done For You Niche Club. Each week you get a fresh batch of researched, low competition, unsaturated niches, all checked out by me. I've done all the research for you. You'll also get the titles, the tags, the AI prompts, other downloadable resources, and we have a live call each month where you can ask me anything. It really is designed to help you move your shop forward without all the overwhelm and all the guesswork. If you're interested, check out the first link below in the description or the pinned comment to get access to this week's niches that I dropped for my members. And if you're looking for more personalized help, I'm now offering one-on-one coaching. I'll have a link for you below to help you with strategy, picking a product type, really anything that you need to help turn your shop around or get your shop set up for success. And don't forget that if you want your free checklist, go ahead and leave the word checklist below and I'll make sure I get that over to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.